Since I was little, I loved writing. I always had a notebook with me wherever I went. At first, my writing was meaningless, just childish words full of spelling mistakes. The war began, and we witnessed shelling and terrifying events. We left Syria. When I left, it felt as if I were leaving an entire life behind. I started writing about our home, neighborhood friends, and my grandfather who stayed in Syria and refused to leave. Despite all the terrible things happening, I always wrote a happy ending, that the war would end and everything would return to the way it was. In that chaos, my writing found meaning, though it was far from pleasant. Years passed. Muhammad Eid Kahil, my mother's youngest brother, was not just our uncle. He was our childhood friend. He was only a few years older than me and my siblings, and we grew up very close to him. He was called for mandatory military service around the same time my family and I left Syria. During the first 3 months after he was taken to the army, we completely lost contact with him. Later, he reached out and told us he was safe. He said he had left the army and fled the country with his friend because he did not want to carry a weapon or kill anyone. We lived in constant worry, praying for his safe escape. Days passed without any news. Then, after some time, his friend contacted us and told us that Muhammad had been captured and injured while they were trying to escape. His friend survived, but Muhammad was caught. Here began my grandfather's journey through the prisons of Syria, searching for him. It wasn't a simple question about him. They demanded large sums of money just to give my grandfather's information about him, to know whether he was still alive or dead. My grandfather eventually learned that he was in Sidnaya prison. Sidnaya, the human slaughterhouse. No one enters this prison and comes out alive. Here, they don't kill prisoners immediately. Instead, they continue torturing them for years until the prisoners suffer greatly and die on their own. I remember that day vividly. We were sitting around a wood stove when we found out that Muhammad was found in Sidnaya prison. We had lost Muhammad. There was no way he could have survived and came out alive from this human slaughterhouse. Muhammad's story is not over. Muhammad is dead, but his body and his grave are missing. Syria has been liberated, but to this day, Muhammad and many others like him, their bodies and graves still missing. The little girl who used to write meaningless stories has grown up, and today, she has written a part of Muhammad's story. I am certain there is still a much darker part that is missing and went with Muhammad. Despite the brutality of what I write, I will continue writing. I will succeed. I will write and film Muhammad's story for the world so that his memory remains with us forever. to write about him, because there are 1,000 stories like Muhammad's that must be written and told.